Hey, this is Denny Jahnz with SurfPrep, and I wanted to talk to you today about some of the things that we have included with our 3x4 sander. So this is our most popular sander. It's usually the first one everybody buys of our products, myself included. This is the very first SurfPrep piece of equipment that I ever got in my career, and it totally changed the way I sanded. Up until that point, I was sanding everything by hand. This eliminated that and made my life so much easier. So there's a couple things about it. So this sander is amazing for so many things, from taking paint off to sanding surfaces before you're gonna paint them, to sanding primers in between coats, and pretty much everything. It's so versatile. There's a couple things on here that I do wanna make you aware of when you're using the sander, just to make sure that your experience is as good as it can be. With this sander, it has a pad, a 3x4 pad on it. And if you're using our ProFoam, so our award-winning ProFoam, you can see we've got this in 3 different thicknesses. It's 5mm, 10mm, and 1/2 inch. If you're using just the regular ProFoam, you can put that directly on this pad. And because that foam has a little bit of give to it, when you're sanding, it really helps smooth out those oscillations that you get from the sander. Now, for those of you who are starting to see more requests for stain and for trying to take maybe finishes off and stuff like that, we've got some products that really help with that process. So what you're gonna find is, if you were to take regular sandpaper and put it directly on the pad, you find that because of the power of the sander and the way its oscillations work, it tends to get a little bit chattery and jittery, and sometimes that'll translate into some more swirls and stuff like that on the finish when you're sanding with it. So we've got a product right here, and this is called a pad saver. So the pad saver has a couple unique functions to it. Number one is, if you use this sander without the pad saver, and if you're using sandpaper a lot, what'll happen is these outside edges will tend to curl up, and then these pads will get wore out. So when you replace the pad, and we do have replacement pads, everybody at some point will have to replace them, but if you don't use that pad saver, you end up doing that a lot quicker, and it's a lot more expensive. So the pad saver was designed as a sacrificial piece that you can simply apply to the sander. It's also Velcro, and then you can put your sandpaper on that. And this does a couple things. Number one, it helps to, like I said, make that pad wear better so that you don't have to go through them so often. But the other thing it does is it actually adds a little bit of a cushion between the sander and the surface. So when you're sanding with that, it makes it a lot smoother, and it is noticeable. When I go out and train people with this sander, the very first thing that I do is I have them take and first put a piece of sandpaper directly on whatever surface we're sanding, and have them sand with that for like 5 seconds, and then we'll switch it out. I'll put the pad saver on and have them run that for like 5 seconds. And we've got another thing called the interface pad. So the interface pad is very much like a pad saver, but it also has foam in between it. So it kind of bridges that gap between regular sandpaper and our ProFoam. And so the purpose of this is, once again, to give you a little bit of ability to kind of conform to contours and stuff like that, but it gives you even more cushion than the pad saver does. And you may find that sanding with this one makes your sanding even better than the pad saver. So some people like it this way with the interface pad. Some people like the pad saver. When you buy our sanding system kit, these come in there automatically. But just remember that if you are going to be using our 3x4 sander, and if you're not using ProFoam on there, you definitely want to use either the pad saver or the interface pad between the sandpaper and the sander to help smooth things out. It's going to be a lot easier to sand. It's going to have less vibration for you, and you're going to get a better finish. So I just want to drop in and tell you that. And I want you guys all to have a great 2026. Bye.